This last piece of technology I'm going to talk about is something that's called Plickers, and it is a website that you can use to quickly assess your students' learning. So that would be my purpose of using it, is to find a quick and easy way to see what my students know. That way if I need to go back and recover anything, I can, or if we're good to go and move on, then I can also do that. The goal is to assess the students' learning. It's very quick and it's very easy. My students would be my audience. The teacher does have to help at least a little bit, so teachers would also be involved in this. The standards that the Plickers would meet would be processing data and reporting results of what the students have learned, and in addition to that, lots of different assessment practices. I was introduced to this idea at an MTSS training, and we actually used the Plickers right there at the training, and then I didn't do much with it after I left that training. So I thought that this would be a good opportunity for me to look at it a little bit closer and decide if it was indeed something I could use in my classroom. So I went to Google and I looked up what the Plickers were, and when I did that, I was able to sign up for a free account, and it gives you a lot of information on this website. It tells you that you can use any sort of device to read the Plickers. So I'm going to kind of just scroll through what is provided there. It talked a lot about instant feedback, all the students being engaged, and if you've never heard of Plickers before, they're these pieces of paper or cardstock that you print off, and what these students are holding are the Plickers. And so they all have different letters on them to weigh in for an answer. So the students just hold up their Plicker papers, and the teacher swipes by with whatever device they're using, and it reads the Plickers and it tells them what everybody's answers were. And I'll show you in just a second what the classroom, the live view, all that kind of stuff looks like. So this is just what the home page of the Plickers website looks like. When I went in to set up my classes, it was really easy to design classes. I was able just to type whatever the student's name was and assign them a Plicker number. And so this will be how I know who's answering what questions. There are, let's see, 63 different Plicker cards available. So that's my only hang up about assigning each of my students one of these, because I have about 80 students total that I see every day. So I think that I could probably make a classroom set and just keep track of who's assigned to what numbers, and then I should be able to keep track of the data that way. In the library is where my questions are that I've put up in order for the students to weigh in, so I know what they've learned. We've been studying about fossils, so I just did these ones real quick just to see how it all set up. And again, it was super easy. They were easy to add questions. Once you add your question, you can decide if you want it to be multiple choice, true or false. You can pick multiple answers that are correct, and after you press save, it'll show up and look like this. The reports, I don't have any because I haven't used these in my class yet. And I've already showed you what the classes look like, and you can add multiple classes. And then the live view is where you're going to go so you can see how your students are doing with the information. And so one example question that I put up here is this right here. And you can either show your answer or hide it. You'd probably want to hide it while the students are answering their questions. And then it'll show you a graph of how many people got it right, and it'll tell you which students got the right answer as well. You can make this full screen and hide the answer, and hide the graph. I think when I was at my training, this is how we saw the information to see how we were doing with it. You can hide it all together so the kids can't see any of it. It's totally up to you. So it has a lot of good stuff there. As far as cards go, this is what the cards look like. You can kind of adjust for what you need. And I also thought that this part of the website was helpful. They answer a lot of different questions that you might have about the Plickers. And I think that, as to my understanding, you can just print them off on a piece of cardstock. And the person that was presenting to us said you can laminate them, but sometimes that gets a little bit tricky because the lights reflect off of it. So when you ask or you show your question to your students, they'll hold up their cards that look like this, and you will just swipe by with your device that you're using, and it'll read it and it'll put it all up on the board for you. And I really, really like that because it's super fast, it's inexpensive, and it lets me see what my students know. I like that about this. Again, they have lots of information of how to get started. Anything you could need to know, is they do a really good job of answering. They give you lots of visuals of what you should be looking for, and it's just a really good website. I think especially for somebody who doesn't know a whole lot about them anyway, and sometimes struggles with getting technology to work like I do every once in a while. So I really like it. I think it's very helpful, and I look forward to using it in